Hey y'all, it's Sharon. It is Sunday, May 26th. Welcome. It has been a hot minute, I know. Um, I was going to record week before last, but then it was Mother's Day and time got away, and I was going to record last weekend, but then it occurred to me that I would have to upload using the computer tethered to my phone because we don't have internet at the house, and that would take it about 3 days. So I figured I'd just wait until this weekend and we could take care of it this week when I go into the office and all of that good stuff. Last week, we spent the week at a cabin a couple hours west of here that's on the river, and it doesn't have phone service, TVs, anything. And we did a lot of nothing, and it was glorious. So, but first things first, the most important stuff is here's Ryan update. This is why things take so long to get done at the office. The child has a way with making faces. Look at that. And I'm sorry, these are showing up weird because they're not that blue, but he's pretty cute. I think we're going to keep him. So anyway, there you go. I apologize for that too. The sniffling and throat clearing, I will try my best. And this video may be choppy because if I have to sneeze or cough, I will try to pause it before that happens. Don't ask me what's going on because I have no idea. We went to a singer-songwriter thing while we were out staying in the cabin. This was in Utopia. And by the time we left there, I had this really bad sinus headache, but I didn't think much of it. And the next morning I woke up with this horrible rattling cough in my chest. How does that happen? I don't know. Generally, you work your way into that, but that's where everything started. So whatever. I didn't want to wait another week to do this because I have got so much stuff. Anyway, let's get started. First and foremost, I'm going to show you this on a picture on my phone because I don't have it to show. It's from Eva's Designs off of Etsy, and it's these two. And this is just a black and white printout. But this is actually done in shades of gray and stuff. I did not do it that way. I used truffle floss and made this huge mess of it. When I was pulling it off the card, I caught one string on the corner of the card and managed to do this. Anyway, it is truffle from Dying to Cross Stitch, and you can see it's like in shades of brown. Because I did this one for Addison. I wish it wasn't showing up so blue. I don't know how to fix that. It's changing all the light. And I put 2024 down here, and I used the brown in the hair, and I even did it like in circles here because she always has a messy bun in, and then in the stripes there, and I put the little heart in red. My plan is to do the other side for Jacob for Father's Day, for his first Father's Day. And I'm pretty sure I had started this last time, and I did not show it because Addison sometimes watches my Floss Tubes. I can't wait this long. Yeah, it's too much. Out of the May-June 1986 issue of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, which looks like this, which that wedding sampler is just beautiful, y'all. But I worked on this cat. Actually, I think in this today you're going to see all three of these. I think they've all three come up. This time I worked like down in here. I think I came over a little bit here. I've got to finish that cat. I put it off because its face is so confetti heavy in a bunch of colors that are only slightly different from each other for the shading. And I know it's going to be beautiful when it's done. But, oof. For now, it's rough. That's all I've got to say. I know I had told y'all before that we had a mouse in the car. And we got home one night. I think it's gone now. I bought some traps and left them in the car for a week. I think Dax was working on the brake lights because they were sticking on. And so he was looking to see. Basically, water got in there is what it was. But he was taking them apart to look and see. And the mouse was down in there. And he scared the mouse. And the mouse scared him. And I don't think the mouse has been back. I think it left on that day. But anyway, one night when we got home from work and we were getting out of the car, I said, "Good night, Gus Gus." Dax was like, "That is not funny." I thought it was pretty hysterical. Okay, from this Christmas 1991 celebrations to Cross Stitch and Craft, I'm doing the Santa. It all just fell on the floor. Actually, it fell in the basket I have down here. Anyway, here we are. Here we are. I have finished the top half. I've got all of the back stitching, as far as I know, done. So I have started now on the tree down here in the bottom half. This one is on my list of 20. If you're new here, my list of 20 is my 20 oldest whips that I try to kid myself that I'm going to get done this year. Most of them that are on the list this year will not be done this year. Okay, I think I paused it to cough. Out of November, December 1986 Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, looks like this. I don't have to cover the address because that's not my name or address anymore. Not for a very long time. I am working on this one. This is a new start. And there you are. I started with the apples down at the bottom on the middle. Right here. I will not be doing all of this background. I think not. I have a color for my background. I actually have this stuff for that. I'm doing this on a 14 count Zweigart Ada in toast. You can say I paid 99 cents for it. I worked on this Artiste. It's a stamped cross stitch, which I thought would be, well, it's kind of embroidery too, because this down here is embroidery. I thought that would be quick and easy, stamped cross stitch. It is not working out that way for me. That butterfly is not part of it. It's my needle minder. This is also on my list of 20. You can see I embroider a little bit tight. This time I actually got this all done and have started on the cross stitching. And what is difficult is, for me anyway, I've really had to start here at the edges and work my way in, because when you get in here, the corners of an X could be, the edges could be easy to get off on. Like you can see XX, but the X's could go from the middle of an X to another X. And especially if you've got half stitches, quarter stitches in there, it's very confusing. So I decided start at an edge and only work off of that. This is on my list of 20. Like I said, I thought it would be quick. I'm having doubts. I am having doubts. I worked on Celtic Welcome from Tilton Crafts. This is one that Dawn, Frosty X Stitch, bought for me because, bless her heart, she is tired of seeing all the drab colors in my solid tube piece. So she felt like I needed something with color. And here we are. I worked more. I started in the middle of, and this is the top border, but I mean, it is beautiful. And it is filling in quite lovely. I keep it in this cute little bag from So Much to Love that Melanie sent me from Melly Ellie Stitches. So, two friend things right there. I like it that way. While we were gone, I told you we went to see it's a singer-songwriter circle where local people are coming and singing their songs. And one of the people that was up there, he's a singer-songwriter, storyteller, all of that kind of stuff. He'd take you on kayak adventures, just a jack of all trades, maybe. But when he was up there, he was asking, where people are from, if people who weren't local. And he asked us, and Dax told him, and he's like, what are y'all's names? And Dax said Dax and Taryn. And he's like, okay, Jack and Karen. I can remember Karen. It's my wife's name. And Dax was like, close enough. And then people beside us laughed because they heard that that's not what our names were. But then later in the night, he's like, hey, Karen, you want to hear a song about my grandmother? And I was petting somebody's dog that was next to me. And Dax was like, he's talking to you. And I was just like, I would not have answered because I wasn't listening for Karen. But we've decided we're going to take a picture and send out Christmas cards from Jack and Karen. What do you think? Stony Creek, count your blessings. This go round, I put in this bird. Yes, this bird, I think. I think I had the other stuff in there that I just put in this bird this time. A lot of these I look at and I go, you should really buckle down and finish, but they haven't made it to the list yet. Yeah, some of these, it's been so long ago that I worked on them that I really don't remember what I did. But out of Cows and More Cows, I'm working on this one. This one is on my list of 20 also. And I filled in brown over on this side. I think I've gotten down to the bottom over here. That's a lot of brown, y'all. That is just a lot of brown. I really should just pick a different color and work on it this time, but we'll see. The part of me just wants to get the brown over with. From Le Pointe de Croix, I worked on Be Mine. And I have finished all of the cross stitching on this page. There's back stitching, and I'm doing the back stitching kind of as I go. A little bit of back stitching, and then you can see I came over here and I started on the boy on the next page. If you watch Lorene, I think that's right, on So on Wednesday, she has finished that one. You'll have to go back a few videos, but she's finished that one. Well, I'm excited because I've caught up to March in videos that I'm watching on those videos. So you'll probably have to go back a lot of videos. For me, it's a few. But if you're better at this than I am, you may have to go back a lot. Why is it so hard to find the front of a magazine? July, August of 86, Cross Stitching Country Crafts. This is another one of the three. Which one is this one? Cat's Basket, Appalachian. And I think all I did was this part right here. As I've said before, some of this depends on whether I drag myself out of bed in the morning when the alarm goes off. From Stony Creek, a bushel and a peck. I'm working my way across the bottom. This time I brought over some of the squares and started working on this basket right here. This one's going to be awesome. I mean, look at all the different colors in it. This is a Mania New Start. It is from the May-June 1991 Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. I was looking to see if my name had changed yet. And it's this right here. I'm not doing a key fob. I'm stitching it, and I'll just make a little pillow. And I have this on a little piece of scrap. And there you can see working on the first heart up there. So it should be quick, but it's going to be way back in the list because it's a new start. Now, being a Mania start, Mania's pieces should show up more often because Mania has its own section on my wheel of what to work on. From March, April of 86, Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. Here's what the front looks like. Things are falling. My magazine's falling apart. I worked on this one. This is Amish. Yes. And this one I am obviously the farthest along on. You can actually start to pick out the little ears on the cat and the balls of yarn that are in the basket. So one day I hope to have them all finished and maybe all in the same frame. For Addison's piece, speaking of frames, I just got these little frames from Amazon. They're just black with kind of a rustic gold finish trim here. Nothing super fancy. A little bit distressed, which will kind of, I figured being in black and gold, the black helped match the piece, and the gold being a little bit distressed helps fit in with what their decorating style is right now, but hopefully would easily translate later on too. Okay, I worked on Happy Farm Girl by, what's that? Yeah, it's So Emma. I am doing this on a piece of, now I can't remember what they call it. Anyway, it looks like this. And this time I worked down here, putting a boot under her one leg there. I have the heel of the boot on the other side since I already had that color out. And the comb on the chicken. It's great pulling all of these things out, but then I want to keep working on them. I don't keep everything in Ziploc bags. Here's a bag I made with just scraps that were around. I don't even know what's on the inside. The same pink. The inside is the same as the outside, so. I do have some bags. I don't take the time to sew them up. That many. A new start for Mania. I believe this was a Mania start. After the Rain. This is from a series of artwork. Yeah, by Linda Myers. Sorry. Here are some of them. I have this one already started, and this one McKenna sent to me. So, because she knew I had the other one. And there we go. Big start. I don't know why Beaver felt right for this photo, but but there we are. I also worked on Be Thankful. It's from Imaginating Ink. This is on my list of 20. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know I finished it. I am so excited. Yeah, that's a lot of back stitching on those berries and vines and everything, but I love it. Now, how long will it take to FFO it? I don't know. But it's a finish, and it's a finish from my list of 20. That's the even more amazing part. This was a Mania start. The professional CPA, obviously I'm going to do that for tax. I am doing this on a piece of Zweigart 25 count Lugana natural. And I believe I'm doing it 2/2. There you go. Is that impressive or what? I did white that's across the top. I'm hoping that is everything, because like it will be backstitched on the outside of that, but as I go, that it will all pull together and show up. And I don't know why Mickey Mouse went with being a CPA, but apparently in my world it does. Hold on. Okay, I was afraid I was about to sneeze. And I sneeze loud, so that wouldn't be good for anyone. I worked on Bright Night from Lizzie Kate. And I got it finished. This was on a scrap piece of fabric that I think I used for, I think I used on the frosted pumpkin, which better have my candy. So I still had more left over, and so I used it for this. I did not put the broom at the bottom that the cat is on, because we are pretty close to the bottom here. And the broom comes down more, so I knew if I put the broom on there that I might not have room enough to finish it. And this is what happens when I just start someplace without actually, measuring and important things like that. This one was in another project bag that I made. This was from a table runner. It's not lined inside because it already had like a flannel backing on it that I got at the Target dollar spot several years ago. Like this trim was already on it, everything. All I did was cut it off and fold it and stitch it. Those are the best kind. Super easy. I worked on Fancy That. They had a Hat of the Month thing. I don't have all of them. I liked the little bunny on this one, so I got it. Here is where I'm at. I'm just working on the white on that bunny at the bottom. Like right here will be the clover. This is on a piece of Chloris Lugana, 28 count. I'm doing 2/2. I, on purpose, started it right there. This is a very colorful fabric. It's some fabric that Colvin sent me, but I thought with the way the bunny is, I thought that this kind of looks like grass going up into sky with all of the bunny ideas floating up in the air. I don't know if they're bunny ideas or not, but in my world they are. I did not have a lot of time to work on that one when I worked on it. That's why there isn't much accomplished. I worked on my Ukrainian ornament. This one is a free pattern. I'll put it in, if you want to know, goodness gracious, if you would like to know where to find it, let me know and I will tell you. Because chances are I will not remember to put it in the description. Anyway, all I really got done was right here. I was getting frustrated because some of the stitches were staying nice and full and some of them were looking really thin and weak, and so I set it aside. I don't like to keep going when I start getting frustrated because then that's not good for anybody. And you just make more mistakes. I make more mistakes. From Homespun Elegance, delivering floors. I think I have 4 of these, but I got quite a bit done on this one. I finished up the white and the sheep, and I finished up the cart. I think last time I only had the cart down to here, and I had stuff up here for the sheep. But now that sheep is all done, and it's freaking adorable. This is in a basket that I'm in a basket in a bag that I made. These little Raggedy Ann stitcheries. I was in a monthly club. It was supposed to be a quilt by the end of it. It came with the pattern and all of the fabrics. I added this one. I added the fabric on each end to make it big enough for this. All of the rest of it came with the kit. And I did them all. I did all of the stitching and I put all the pieces on to make the quilt. And I could never decide on sashing in between. So I never did it. I've had them done for years. So I decided project bags is going to be my way to go. I tried to find other pieces that seemed, fabrics that seemed kind of period appropriate. I don't know enough about fabric to know that or not. Blue and white polka dots in the middle, the inside. I have another one that I've got halfway done. I haven't picked an inside fabric for it yet, so it sits over there waiting on me. From the May-June 1992 Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. Looks like this. I am doing this. I'm not supposed to show you the pattern. I'm doing this. I am not doing it on a placemat. I'm doing it on this random piece of even weave, maybe linen. Anyway, there's the start of the reindeer. And I have enough to do the pattern as it's charted to pull across, I believe. If I don't, they have the pattern broken down into, here's the little light swirl, repeat it however many times you want to. But I think I'm going to finish this one as a drum. This one is a new needle minder. I went to the farmer's market, and the lady had a shoebox full of magnets. She has them with these magnets on the back, but because I know sometimes those can leave marks on your fabric, I painted over them. I bought 4 of them from her. I gave 2 to Kirsten, and I kept 2. I painted them with nail polish to seal the magnet off so that hopefully it won't do that. I'm sorry for the sniffles, guys. From the December 1992 Cross Country Stitching magazine. I started this as one of my mania starts. Originally, I think I had planned to do just like this little section right here or something like that. But then I decided I really kind of like that border. I probably hate myself for deciding that, but yeah, here we are. This needle minder is from Coleman. Isn't that cat funny? So anyway, I wanted to do that border with those flowers and stuff. So that was my start. I believe that was a mania start. I worked on, I don't know what the name of it is. I call it Days of Gold. That's kind of what the name of the article that goes with this pattern is. It is out of Cross Stitcher magazine from September 2016. I am doing this on 28 count gray mist, and I'm doing it 1/1 because I hate myself. I looked to see what I'd accomplished since the beginning of the year. This is on my list of 20. So since the beginning of the year, I have accomplished this part right here, like from that heart down, and the alternating color on the roof. That's it. If I don't get a little bit busier than that, there is no way this is going to be done this year. It lives in a Snoopy bag that I made, which just has a yellow, this is from a vintage sheet. So, I worked on tumbleweeds. This one is the Journey. This is a series of patterns. I think there are 4 total, and that I have them all. I think I've started them all, but this is the original one. And let me move my needle minder out of the way. I am working my way across the border at the top. I am having an issue currently with discovering mistakes and unstitching and having to restitch. I think I am actually ahead of where I was when I started this. This is on Ada 18 count that I dyed. And I have all of them on this piece. They will all fit in theory. That's what we're going with. So I guess we'll see. That's how it's supposed to work anyway. Palavon. This was I worked on for Stitch Mania. This is on my list of 20. This is yeah, fat chance of being completed this year. But I am actually I don't have all of the cross stitching done quite on this side because like some of it is down there at the bottom of this porch, and I wanted to put in the back stitching to get down there before I tried stitching and everything. But as you can see, this time I worked on the floor. Okay, sorry. But it just, every bit more that I put into this, the more I love the way it looks. I'm blown away by it. So, and speaking of Palavon, from this one, the Quilts for All Seasons, because, I'm doing them all. I started in May. And May has a whole bunch of white in it, as you can see. If I was really good, I would make a quilt that matched it. But I'm not that good. So I started in the middle on one of those little let me see and make it make sense. Like I'm right, that's right in here in that fold. So there you go. Okay. I am going to grab the next pile of stuff. Yes, I told you it's too much. I should never wait this long again. But in my defense, I really didn't need to. I will be right back. Maybe. Okay. We shall continue. I've said before, I made Dax that prairie schooler Christmas Santa where he's smoking the pipe because Dax had been fascinated with pipes. And he has bought, I was going to say a couple, but by now we're at a few. And there's a cigar lounge that's not far from our house. And it's off the square where most of the activity where people from out of town are. And so they put theirs off the square so it would be more local people and everything. But they also have a small selection of pipe tobacco. So we went in there to look. And he went with one of the guys back to the humidor, but they've got a bar in there also. So he came out and I was sitting there talking to the other owner with the beer, drinking a beer. And he's like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, hey, I'm just fitting in, being the good wife. You go do your thing. I'll be absolutely fine. Okay. He asked that a lot about me, y'all, because at the office we have a phone. It's called phone slips. They don't even sell it anymore, but it's a program where I can send him phone messages or Kirsten or whatever, or memos or whatever. It's just an internal talking to each other kind of thing. When he bought it, he was like, we will never have to speak to each other again. It'll be awesome. But Kirsten will send it to me sometimes when she's drafting an email to somebody to check for it. And the other day she did that because we have moved her instead of sitting in the same office space with me, she has her own office now in the back. And so we had moved her back there, and she sent me one of those, and it dings on my computer, and I was like, nope. And I said it loud so she could hear it. And about 5 minutes later, Dax came out, and he's like, did you just yell nope and then nothing else? I'm like, well, yeah, why? Anyway, Christmas patches from Leisure Arts. I worked on this one for Stitch Mania. And here is where I am. I put in part of this square. I came over here and to start working on this plaid portion here, and realized that when I had put in one shade of the browns that I had skipped around. And it's plaid. So, I mean, they really kind of should be a little bit more geometric, I guess. So I pulled out what I had done, put that back in, and then I put in a second color. But when I was looking here to figure out what color that was that I was pulling out and needed to put back in, I realized that all of this over here was in the wrong color. I had it in a red color. So I pulled all of that out and put it back in. In here, I'm going to show you the issue and why it was maybe I'm going to do that. It was this symbol into this one. Is that right? Yes. It's brown with little tiny white dots, and it's brown, a darker brown with little tiny white dots. Those are the only two on this full thing. I'm supposed to be showing you the pattern, all of the different things, and it's like, I hate it when things are that close. Anyway, after all was said and done, I did end up being ahead of where I started. But if we hadn't been sitting in a cabin and I had nothing to do but cross stitch, cook food, and eat, I wouldn't have ended up ahead at the end of the day, because the time I had available that day probably would have been limited to tearing out something because the symbols were too close. It's frustrating. Designers, it's so frustrating. And not that any designers care what I have to say. Cafe Du Monde, A Taste of New Orleans, from Leslie Rister's Designs. I bought this at, actually it was more needlepoint, and I'm trying to think, they may have had, let's look and see what the thing is. The quarter stitch in New Orleans. It was mostly needlepoint, but they had a few cross stitch. And I like to grab something if I can when we visit places, preferably something small. But I really thought, oh, I'll just whip this out. Oops. Goodness gracious. And not the case, because like this is solid. This is solid. There's still all the stitching in the middle. You've got all this back stitching. I mean, I think the back stitching is looking pretty beautiful, if I do say so myself. This is on a 14 count piece of Aida, It is that kind of a mint green Ada that you used to be able to buy like at Target and of course Hobby Lobby and Michael's and all that. But I over dyed it with purple and then coffee stained it to tone it down a little bit. But I thought that would be perfect, green and purple for piece for New Orleans. So, and it is in a project bag that I made that I put the zipper in the absolute opposite way of how I want a zipper to go because I wasn't thinking. This one I gusseted at the bottom a little bit, and I think it's from another table runner. So, and then this was another Stitch Mania piece that I was working on. Fancy that. And the ghost. This, again, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's cute. And you look at all that empty space and look at all that solid stitching. So here we are. This time I managed, last time I had 2 of these. This one was finished, I think. I don't think this one quite was. So I did all of this across the bottom. It's done. I finished up this band here. And now I'm working my way up that giant pumpkin. Okay. I stopped because I had to sneeze a lot. But then Dax is working on one of the faucets outside is leaking, and he's working on fixing it. And so he needed my help. But now he's run to the store. So I'll see if I can finish this up while he's gone. We have about, I don't know, we have a little kit with hundreds of various size washers and O-rings in it. We have other packages of washers, probably 5-6 different packages with various size washers, but we don't have the right size for this, of course. So let's see if we can get this done before I have to help. I don't really help. I think he likes for me to see the effort that he's putting forth because I'm no help. I can't muscle through anything. I've never taken one apart. I have no idea about it. So I'm no real help. I'm moral support. Okay. From Stony Creek, Spooky Welcome. I worked on this for Mania stitching, and here's where I am. I worked on this one while we were gone to the cabin and was able to get this goes finished right here. I had him up to about right here. So I finished him off, brought over this part of the house, did all of this pumpkin, and came up with all of this. So I was quite pleased. That was a big chunk. So I'm pretty happy with that. As you can see, once again, I've not left myself good margins. So, oh well. We'll figure that out at a later date. This is also in a project bag that I made. It was a project bag fail, but I was making it just from pictures with no measurements or anything like that. And again, scrap fabric. This little nose piece should have been much, much bigger. And so should his nose have. And it's just got, it's supposed to have like a zipper right here, but I didn't even bother. It's got some black ticking. I figure even if something's a fail, I'll still use it. These aren't entering a contest. They're just hanging out right here in my sewing room. And sometimes they get to go to a cabin. mason jar lineup from Dimensions. It's on my list of 20. I'm not expecting a finish on it this year, but I am so happy with the progress on these daisies. That's where I'm working on currently. But instead of having only the white stitching, especially getting the centers in, has made a world of difference. And I've gotten this jar outlined, backstitched, I guess. But that also, you can see it comes along the bottom of that jar. The backstitching in these makes all the difference too. But I feel like I'm starting to see the flowers in it instead of just having white stitches that don't show up. So I'm pretty happy with that. Not seeing it really as a finish this year, but you know, stranger things have happened. I worked on Summer in Chalk. This one is out of June 2016 Just Cross Stitch magazine. It's on my list of 20. We've moved past Myrrh, and we are now into I'm really not sure if I still have this first page finished or not, because there were some things that, like down here at the bottom, there might be some leaves or flower petals or something that come over to that page. But anyway, this time out, I finished this bee and started working on this flower up here and a little tiny bit on the S. Trying to get the at least summer finished. I have to get this one finished this year. It is on my list of 20, but I absolutely have to get this one finished because Shelly over at It's Only Stitching has threatened me. I mean, it was a low-key threat, but a threat nonetheless. So she's kind of mean. Don't let her fool you. When she acts all nice and stuff, she scares me. She's one of the people I go to when stuff is a mess and I can't figure it out because she always is very common sense about it. And she doesn't even go, "Why are you so stupid?" when she tells me how to fix something that should have been easy. But I can't wrap my head around how easy it should have been. Anyway, Snowflower Diaries, Joyful World Stitch Along from forever ago. I was looking to see if it had an actual date on here. I don't see one. I'm sure there is, but 2016. So anyway, I did not start them in 2016, but probably 2017. I don't know. Anyway, July. I want this one done by the end of the month, and I had hella stitching going on, needed on this one. I think I only had this flamingo, part of this one, and part of this one to start with. So I've got a lot. I've got a lot to do, and I'm running out of time. I'm scared. These are all going to be from the same. This one is August. My goal is to get all of these done this year. I was trying to get that out of the way, but here is where I am on August. The last time I worked on it, I'm struggling with the Lazy Daisies because they keep being ugly. Actually, my thread got knotted and pulled them all tight, and that's not how they're supposed to look. It's September. These are free patterns on her website, on her blog. Here's where September is. I had much more done on this owl. I am off somewhere and I have no idea where, because my owls were going to touch if I kept going. I don't know what I've done wrong. I've counted and I've counted and I've counted and tried to find my mistake. I got mad, ripped the whole owl out. I mean, I was up to the top of it, getting ready to do the face, and their faces touched. And their faces should actually have 2 stitches between them, and they were going to touch. And so finally, I couldn't find where I was wrong. I just ripped it all out. I moved it over down here, even though that's not where it's supposed to start on the pattern. But when everything else was counting out right, I had to do that. I just, you know what? If they're farther apart than they're supposed to be, then okay. November's. I have already finished October's because it kept getting called and stuff. Here is where we are. Part of the reason I didn't get as much done on that one, because that was my 25/7 for May, but I was working on the piece for Addison instead. And then I just kind of haven't put that one back in and really done a lot of work on it like I need to. So maybe I'll do that for this next week because I'm running out of time. And then December's. Here we are. I really don't have a ton left on December, so. And I have time for it. I'm sorry, I was trying to decide if I was going to pause you again, if I'm actually going to sneeze, or if my eyes are just going to water, my nose is going to run. For now, it appears that the latter is the case. By Joyful Tidings, Cross Stitch Christmas, I am doing this stocking on the back for Jacob. But not in those colors at all. I am doing blue, 2 shades of blue. I was going to try to avoid the beading on it, but I think I'm going to have to do that to make these work even better. The fabric is like a harvest gold or something like that. It's a linen I got from 1884 Stitchery on her website. McKenna's. And nobody wants to hear this, I'm sure. I am struggling with these blues together. I'm not. I actually contemplated going, do I need to find a different blue? And if you've been with me for a while, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're just going to plow through. And I have some beads that are they kind of have like that oil rubbed finish, or like an oil slick kind of finish, but they're in blues, and I think that they will be perfect because they will encompass both of these shades. And I'm just going to plow forward. It's a lot brighter in person than it is on here, but it'll be fine. It will be fine. And this is another project bag I made from a table runner from Target. Now, I can say that since they decided to shut the world down for a period and retailers went to, you could order online and pick up, and they would bring it out to you, I hardly ever go into stores anymore. That has made me so lazy. It really has. Okay, and then out of I don't know, Cross Stitch Gold. I don't see a date. Anyway, it's these birdhouses. I have started this one. And I made a mistake. And I pulled on this blue coming down. And I pulled it out. And I restitched it. And I think I was right the first time. Anyway, my last new start for Mania was this one right here. And I started it on this green even weave. It's not showing up really as green as it should. Anyway, as you can see, I started right here at the top of the birdhouse. I'm doing these on different pieces of fabric. And that's it for this time. Okay. I'm having a hard time here today, y'all. I think that's all the stitching. Well, that doesn't count my stitching for today. Oh, I know. I haven't shown you. I did work on Mystic Stitch. Solitude from Mystic Stitch. Here, let me take it out of the hoop. It's going to have severe wrinkles and hoop marks, but I won't iron it until it's washed when I'm done. Anyway, I have not done a ton on it. I've got to really push because I'd like to get this page done, a page here, and then another page down here done. So 2 and 1 partial this year. And if I don't get back busy on it, I'm not going to get that done. I think for next month that I have, yes, I've put it in for every Friday to stitch on. I was doing it on Sunday. I would do my new start and then I would work on this, but I'm using Saturday and Sunday for trying to touch all my whips this year. Oh my gosh, I'm knocking stuff over. I'm using it Saturday and Sunday for trying to touch all my whips. So I was working on my new start, then working on the next whip to touch on Sunday, and I was only barely getting any time in on Solitude. So I've decided it needs, I think for June, every Friday I will work on Solitude, and in July I might work on the Paula Vaughn Friendship Quilts. Those are my 2 oldest whips, and I think those are both from 2016. So I felt like they should get a Friday focus kind of thing. I do have a tiny little bit of haul. Let's see if I can keep from knocking more stuff down. I have discovered, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's humid as all get out here, and my hair is, I put extra product in, but it is crazy today. And anybody knows, curly hair don't care. I'm in trouble, because you know I love Paula Vaughn and the quilts and everything, and I have discovered an artist by the name of Diane Phelan, which is funny. I know somebody named that, and when I first saw it, I'm like, that can't possibly be the same person. Surely she would have said something, and it's not. But look, yes, I'm in trouble. So I bought this kit on eBay. I don't know, it's from 1996. The seller, it's unopened. I think I paid $12 for it. The seller made me an offer I couldn't refuse. That's why I shouldn't like things. But I think I've seen 4 different ones that are like this with the quilts. I know, because I need more things with quilts, but I can't help myself, y'all. And I'm going to tell you, most of the time I can't tell you what kind of fabric I'm stitching on because I buy things like this, where this is all just a bunch of pieces of leftover fabric from when I bought this one on Stash Unload or one of those. But it's all leftover pieces. A lot of them are like strips from the bottom or sides of something. But I don't care because I can find plenty of stuff to do on something like that. And I think I paid $7 for all of this. But that's why I don't ever know what I'm stitching on, or hardly ever know what I'm stitching on. And I like to buy things like that, where it's a bunch of stuff, and I get to dig through it and see what's there. I know I've said before, I sell stuff on eBay. I've got an eBay store. I sell vintage things, not hardly any. There's some stuff that's like just crap from around my house, but I do pretty well. Have done pretty well in the past with silverware, and so I'm sure Dax is going to kill me. He probably wants to already. I bought in an online auction 25 pounds of silverware that now I have to go through, but this is my favorite part. I have to go through it and research it and find out what kind of silverware it is and all of that. I've counted it. It's 266 pieces. And I have washed them all by hand. So they will all be going to their new homes clean. But I recently ordered individual little silverware bags to put them in because I am not going to dig through all of those to find each individual piece after I list it when it sells. But obviously I'm the same way with the fabric. That's why I buy stuff like that, because I really like digging through it and seeing what kind of treasures there are. And while we were gone to the cabin, on our way home on Friday, we came home Friday. On our way home, we stopped at a couple of thrift stores. And Dax would have kept going to more, even though he hates them, because I love it. He will indulge me. Like I've said before, that man is willing to indulge me all the time. And we only went to, I think we only went into 2 or 3 before I was just like, because Fridays when I woke up with the cough and everything, and I was just kind of like, I'm just exhausted. I came home and took a nap on Friday. I took a nap yesterday, but anyway, while we were out at one of the thrift stores, I was very disheartened. It was one for the Catholic Church. They had signs up everywhere about not stealing, which means that they keep being stolen from. And it's like, for one thing, it's a thrift store. And this wasn't an antique store. It was a thrift store. But it was, like I said, so disheartening that the church store has to tell you to quit stealing. Anyway, I found these 2, just like this. They were $4.50 a piece, but I'll pay that for the boxes. I like to bobbinate my stuff, and when I have big projects, I need big boxes. My Paula Vaughn quilts for all seasons, since I have them all kitted up together, are going to require at least 1 big box, maybe more, when I buy all of the floss. But like these all have the DMC labels on them. The others in here are numbered, bobbinated and numbered. Some of the numbers are, I think, kit numbers where they've used DMC floss in, because some of them have like a little symbol on them, and then they seem like dimensions numbers, dimensions kit numbers. So now I have to decide, do I just let it go with that? Some of them have a DMC number on it also. Or do I really try to find a Busela DMC conversion and see what DMC numbers I have in here? I don't know, but that's a lot of floss. That's a lot of floss, all bobbinated. And if all I have to do is write the DMC number on the card, that would be fantastic. Anyway, let's see. Since it's been so long, I know it's almost the end of May, but you don't know about the end of April. So, in April, I touched 14 more of my whips, which at the end of April, I had touched 70 of the whips out of the 150 that I started the year with. I had 2 finishes in April. I don't know what they were. I'm going to guess that one of them was the June from Snowflower Diaries. Let's look, see. Oh, Ryan's Birth Sampler and the June Snowflower Diaries. I still have not FFO'd Ryan's Birth Sampler because I can't decide what I want to do. But I think I might have an idea. Which gave me 8 finishes for the year at the end of April. So I figured that's not too bad. I didn't go back and count actually all of my whips because I just didn't feel like it. Maybe I will by the end of this week. I think that might be all. I'm still really tired. Dax asked how we could go to a cabin and do absolutely nothing all week and I could be tired. And it's because, one, menopause and living my life at 400 degrees internal body temperature is killing my sleep. Dax can't stand for me to be within a foot of him because then he sweats. It's pathetic. But I'm not sleeping well at night. And then the first night in the cabin, I woke up to something crawling on my arm. I flung it off and then, grabbed my phone for light, and I could never find what it was. It wasn't a spider. It was some kind of crunchy insect. I don't know. That made it really hard to fall back asleep after that. And then a couple of hours later, I heard something outside making a god-awful noise, and I went to look out the windows, and I didn't see anything. The moon was very bright, so I could see outside, but I didn't see what was making the noise. So that made it, especially the something crawling on me in the middle of the night, made it a little difficult to sleep the rest of the time. Plus the fact that I wake up at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every morning, and I stay awake for an hour or 2. I'm trying not to go take a nap today, even though I'm terribly, terribly tired, just so that I can sleep through the night tonight. Hopefully I've been taking cough medicine at night, which is really strong because I can't lay down without coughing, which helps knock me out. But as soon as it starts to wear off, then I'm awake for quite a while. Anyway, it sucks. I don't suggest it at all. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I need to cross stitch, but yesterday I went and took a nap. I only intended to sleep for a little bit. I slept for 3 hours. Um, but I decided I really probably should go ahead and go take one because I was sitting out here trying to cross stitch and I was falling asleep while I was stitching. So I figured, you know what? Maybe you should go catch a couple Z's, see how it goes. We'll see. Maybe I can push through. I don't know. Anyway, y'all have a good, I'm going to try for 2 weeks. Again, here we are. Yes, I know. For the most part, I'm going to spend the next hour putting all this stuff away, but then maybe I'll be able to move around out here. Thank you, everyone, for liking, subscribing, coming back time after time. I can't say week after week because it just doesn't work that way. And I'll see you back next time. Thanks, y'all. Bye. Stop. Mm.